They did that with Govinda Maharaj. When he was in Russia, Avadut Maharaj said, "You're a guru. You've come from Russia, and you're here to bless the Russian people before they roll the camera."
It doesn't matter to me. I think one's probably loud enough. It might be too much bass.
Ready?
Yeah. Take it away.
Okay. Bandeham Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganara Gunitam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gorba Bistam Supurkam Gorganadra Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shirupa Patanugam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwaguruncha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pradam Mansha Kopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Namo Mahamaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurata Vishay Nama. So we began by saying some prayers to our spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, to all the devotees and all the listeners, and also to the Lord himself, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and of course, Shri Radha Krishna. Okay. So now we're going to sing the holy names for a little while, and you who are listening, you can join in too. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Goranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Well, welcome everybody. Nice to have you all here today at our Wave Street studio. I am very grateful that you all are here tonight, and I just wanted to thank Rhett Allen for having us here at Wave Street and his wife Judy. And so we're very honored. This is our fourth program here. So I wanted to welcome Srila Janardan Maharaj. He is our resident monk at our ashram in Santa Cruz at Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram. And he will be speaking tonight on the topic of Bhakti Yoga, the meaning of yoga. So we have come to hear some words of wisdom from him. And he's very warm-hearted, full of wisdom, has been with our mission for about over 45 years, been practicing. He's a practicing monk here. So anyway, I'd like to give him a warm welcome. And our special guest is Vishakha Devi Dasi. She's our female traveling monk. Actually, she's been traveling all over the world lately and has just come here to California after being in Europe and Italy and London and Hungary and Ireland and so many other places. She is actually she has a very deep understanding of our philosophy, and it's very enlivening to hear her talk about the topics of Bhakti Yoga. And it's she's been practicing all her life. Her family, her mother and father are devotees of Lord Krishna, so it's just in her blood, and it just comes out so naturally. It's very beautiful. And we're very honored to have her here tonight, too, so you can hear some wonderful words of wisdom from Vishakha Devi Dasi also, and ask any kind of question you like. We'll first have a talk from Srila Janardan Maharaj, and then Vishakha will have some talk about Bhakti Yoga, and then we will have a beautiful cooking class upstairs. This is what's happening tonight. And then we'll have some dinner, some vegetarian dinner. So we are very happy you all have come. And it's a little warm in here right now. And so I'm going to leave you with them. And we will begin our talk with Srila Janardan Maharaj. And just feel free to save your questions for a little later. I think you can come sit a little closer.
Okay, before we start, we'd like to express appreciation for my appreciation for Divya Shakti, Divya Shakti Devi Dasi, who has helped organize this program, and also for our kind hosts here at the Wave Studio, who have given us this opportunity. You can mention them by name.
Yeah, Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj.
And her persons from the Wave Studio.
She did mention
Rhett
it.
and Judy.
Yeah,
Rhett Allen.
We've had programs before here, and they're very nice to give us this opportunity to, reach out to so many persons. So, we're speaking on the topic of Bhakti Yoga, and it's very interesting because in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is actually, the meaning is the song coming from the Supreme Lord himself, Krishna, and it's a conversation between Krishna and his devotee, Arjuna. So that should give readers some clue right there that the conversation, the song of God is going on as a conversation between Krishna and his devotee. So already we have some indication of the Lord's, inclination to his devotees. And in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, which is dealing with Bhakti Yoga, Arjuna asks Krishna about the paths of impersonalism and personalism. We see that all over the world, generally people believe in a formless conception of God. They think that the idea of personality or form is a limitation. But actually, the Lord's form is what we call Satchidananda. Satchidananda Vigraha means that his form is that of eternity, knowledge, and happiness or bliss. And that is the constitution of his nature. His form is not a material form like we know, but is actually a spiritual form. And in the spiritual realm, there is spiritual variegatedness. So in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna begins by asking, which is superior? The path of following the path of impersonalism, negation of the senses, coming to the point of understanding Brahman. We could say merging with the formless quality of the Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Vedanti tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanamadvayam brahmati paramatmiti bhagavaniti shabhyate. There it says that there are three aspects of understanding the Lord. One is of his, you can say his effulgence or radiation surrounding his body, the Brahman, the Brahmajyoti, that aspect. That is called Brahmati, and then he says Paramatmati. Paramatma means that the Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Krishna says in the Gita, Sarvasya chaham ridisani vishnu mata smritir jnanam apovanam cha. Says, I'm in everyone's heart. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So he's in everyone's heart, but we are not able to always perceive that. There is a quality of Paramatma and Atma. We are Atma, we are souls, and the Lord is Paramatma. So both the soul and the Lord are situated in one's heart. And if one is in a state of purity, one can receive, some understanding from the Lord. There's an aspect called Chaita Guru, which means the Lord within, and he will give one instructions. But normally, just like we see that in some countries, they cannot receive transmission because their airwaves are blocked, so they can't get so many transmissions that come in. Well, we cannot always get transmissions from within because our waves are being blocked by ahankara, by ego. Because of that ego, we cannot distinguish between what is coming from, the Chaitya Guru, from the Lord himself, and what is just our mind and clouded intelligence speaking to us. But there is a distinction. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 12th chapter, Krishna says to Arjuna, after Arjuna is asked, which is better, the path of impersonalism or the path of, devotion? And Krishna says directly that the path of devotion is superior. He said, because it is very hard for those who are embodied to understand that which is formless, that which is without qualities, that which is without personality. In the impersonal conception, neither the soul exists nor the Lord exists. And this is a very difficult position to be understood by the embodied soul, because we are soul. As it says in the Bhagavad Gita, explains, Mamai vamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashastan indriyani prakritistani karshati. Says who we are, Atma or Jivatma, Mamai vamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. They're eternally, Krishna says, they are eternally related with me. They're part of me. They are my part, and we could use the term which we heard from Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He said, part and separated parcel. The Lord is himself a distinct person, and we are eternally existing as individuals. And those individuals take different bodies. The jiva is going to different bodies. So Krishna says clearly that it is preferable to follow the path of Bhakti Yoga because one in this body can understand variegatedness, can understand different energies. There is different energies. There is the spiritual energy, Chit Shakti. There is the marginal energy, Tatastha Shakti, which is who we are. We can go either towards light or we can go towards darkness. That's called Tatastha Shakti. And there's the quality of the Vidya Shakti, or ignorance. So there's the spiritual nature, there's the material nature, or Maya, the Mayic nature, and there's also the Tatastha plane, where the living entities are in that Tatastha plane and they can go towards either direction. So, well, Krishna says it is, the path of devotion is preferable, and he says, after many, many long endeavors for so many lifetimes, those who follow the impersonal path, they may come to the understanding of Brahman. But that is not the final conclusion. I cited a verse of Brahmati Paramatmati Bhagavaniti Shabhyate. Brahman is first, then Paramatma, the Lord in one's heart, and Bhagavan iti Shabhyate. Bhagavan means understanding the Lord, and we can say Bhagavan, the word Bhagavan means he who's possessing opulences. So those opulences are, unlimited knowledge, power, or strength, fame, then also beauty, then renunciation, and what is the sixth? Fame, knowledge, beauty, renunciation, strength, and wealth, riches. So, but Srila Jiva Goswami explains that actually the understanding of Krishna, because we could say Bhagavan also applies to that Vaikuntha atmosphere of Vishnu or Narayan, but the understanding of Krishna, Srila Jiva Goswami says the word name Krishna means one who attracts everyone, and that's the quality of Krishna. We're really more interested in what the so-called absolute truth is. We're more interested in the qualities of beauty, love, mercy, charm, affection, like that. We're more interested in that quality. And Jiva Goswami says the quality of Krishna is that everyone has a natural desire to serve him, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Jiva Swarupoi Krishna Nityadas. He says it's actually the constitutional quality of the soul to serve Krishna. It's Nitya Krishna Das. The soul by constitution is the eternal servant of the Lord. So I mentioned that Bhagavad Gita, and then we understand that in this world, this world goes through a transition or a progression. And first there is what we call the 4 ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And there is a decline through these ages of qualities, of intrinsic qualities of life. They actually decline. In the Satya Yuga, people had long duration of life, and they were all, we can say, spiritually realized. And then through Treta and Dwapara, there's some gradual lessening of the duration of life and lessening of the spiritual qualities until we come to this age in which we're living, which is called Kali Yuga. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Prayeno Payusha Sabya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Iupadruta. In this age of Kali, persons have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So, this seems a little, these qualities, someone could say, well, that doesn't fit me or my friends. They're not, lazy, they're not unlucky, they're not always disturbed, they're not quarrelsome, etc. But if we look around the nature of the world, we can see that no, we're not saying everyone is condemned, but we see in general when we look online at the news, or if we still reading newspapers, we look at the newspapers. The news, usually the news that is, quote, fit to print is all negative things about this war over here, or this tragedy here, or this happened, or this. That is generally the nature of the news, and someone will say, yes, I'll read about this if I want to be depressed. But generally we look at the news, but there's so many things, and if we think that people were, let's say, unintelligent in this age, then we may not feel that everyone's unintelligent, but we would say sometimes we have the feeling that our leaders are not leading us in the right direction, and that they are, exploiting the resources of this planet in a selfish way that others may not necessarily have full utilization of what is the necessities of life. And in many parts of the world, that is also already going on due to exploitation. So that's one description of Kali Yuga, this age, in general description. But it is also said this age, although one would say that means this age is condemned, right? No, because also it's described, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Isu Medasa. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. Other yajnas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan Yajna is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita, where it says, Sadatas Kirtanantam Yam, that those who are, the great souls are always chanting the glories of the Lord. So, who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he's covered with the Bhavakanti, the mood and the luster of Srimati Radharani. And what he is giving is actually pure devotion to everyone. And he also does so in the form of what is called the Yuga Dharma, which is the special benediction for this age and for all ages of chanting of the holy names. That Sankirtan, that's what we did at the beginning when we were chanting Hare Krishna. That's Sankirtan. And this vibration is very purifying for everyone. And not only that, it puts the soul in contact with the Lord himself. Because when received, the holy name when received from a Vaishnava, from a pure Vaishnava, from a pure soul, then that name is non-different from Krishna. Krishna is non-different from his holy name. So that is the benefit that everyone gets. And, as Mahaprabhu also says in the Sikshastika, he said that there are unlimited names of the Lord. Krishna, Govinda, and maybe in other faiths they have different names, like, they may call the Lord they may refer to the Lord as Allah, or they may Jehovah, different. But there's no limitation as to what names of the Lord one can chant, or the glorification of the Lord in which one can engage. And Krishna says, I have invested all my potencies in the chanting of my holy names, and there are not even any hard or fast rules for chanting these names. You don't have to sit, in a lotus position with your eyes rolled back in your head to be able to chant Hare Krishna. You can be sitting in a chair. You can be walking on the street. You can be sitting in your office or, at school or at a break between classes, whatever it is. You can be chanting the holy names. You can be chanting loudly, if you're not with many people and that will not disturb them. Like you're in the middle of nowhere, you can chant loudly. Or if you're with many persons, you can chant softly or even in your mind. There is no limitation. But especially Sankirtan means when you join with other persons and chant holy names. So then, who is Krishna? We explained something about that. Krishna is Krishna. We just finished with one special month, which was called the month of Kartik. And in that month, there's a place in India called Vrindavan. That we see Vrindavan externally with our eyes, but actually the special nature of Vrindavan is that it is the realm of the Lord which cannot be seen except through eyes of devotion. But anyway, Krishna appeared in that place, and this last month, many pilgrims go there to worship Radha Krishna. Of course, they're always worshiping Radha and Krishna, but they go to that land of Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu, he gives entrance into the worship of Radha and Krishna, and that is his special quality. As I said, the Supreme Lord is Mahaprabhu, is Krishna, and he's covered with the devotion of Srimati Radharani. And regarding Krishna, there's a verse in one holy book called Brahma Samhita, where it says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. It says that Krishna is Paramishvara. There are many lords and there are many Ishwaras, controllers. Like Ishwara can mean someone who's a controller, but there are many. If we look towards what is called classic Hinduism, there's a so-called Pantheon of Gods, right? There's literally a god of rain, a god of sunshine. But this is a little different. It is not what they called pantheism. Pantheism means, attributing divine qualities to aspects of nature. That's not really what they're doing. They're seeing the personification that everything is personal. So the soul is personal. And when the soul is perceiving aspects of this world or of nature, must bring those aspects through the element of consciousness. And by consciousness means personality. So in order to be able to experience something, you have to be able to bring that element, that to the level of consciousness. That's called Chidabhas. Chidabhas means that there is a reflection of Chid, a reflection of consciousness seen in everything. And ultimately, the higher aspect, there are different, we can say, administrators of the material nature who minister different aspects of the universe, and so just like within this country, there are different administrators. We have the city government, the state government, the national government, etc. So there will be different administrators. So we call those different administrators devas, or we could say ishwaras. But this verse is saying that Krishna is Paramishwara. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. And his qualities are that he's eternally conscious, and that consciousness is tasted in the form of divine ecstasy. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, that is his quality, consciousness, knowledge, and unlimited happiness or ecstasy. Anadir Radir Govinda, that person, Krishna, Govinda is the name of Krishna, Anadir Radir Govinda. Nothing has caused God. He's not some rationalization to comfort us for our insufficiencies. No one has created God. No one has elected God. No one has, drawn God as a person that they want to imagine. No. Anadir Radir Govinda. He has no cause. He is Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Rather, he is the cause of all causes. All causes that exist, he's the original cause of them. So that's the nature of Krishna. And here we have come, we're also, I'm going to say that after we speak, now Vishakha Devi Dasi, she will speak, and we will hear, then there will be a cooking Abha Devi Dasi. She will show the audience how to cook some sumptuous preparation. That will be afterwards. But right now, the reason I said that is, ultimately, Krishna says, that one should, to be free from the karma of consuming other living organisms, whether vegetable or animal, they're all living organisms. Even you might say, well, I don't eat meat, I eat plants, but plants are also living entities. A carrot has life, everything has life, so one living entity exists by ultimately consuming another living entity, whether it's plant life or whatever. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one who with devotion offers everything he prepares as an offering to the Lord, and then takes the remnants in the form of prasadam that they're offered to the Lord, then one is relieved from, we can say, the karmic reactions of what? Of eating, chewing, masticating other living, not other living entities, the bodies of other living entities. And so, I'm saying that somewhat, let's say, there will be some reaction for that, even on some elementary level. But Krishna says, if you offer your food to me with the special quality of love and devotion, with special quality of love, and Krishna will accept that offering. He is not caring, he's not so much caring whether you're what you're offering to him, but he rather wants to have that offering with love and devotion. So that's also something related to our program here, and that's why I mentioned that there will be some cooking adventure after this, and you'll be able to learn something about some tasty things that you can prepare and then offer to the Lord. Now I'd like Vishakha Devi Dasi. She's here, and as our Divya Shakti was explaining, I've known Vishakha practically since her whole life, and always she's been a very wonderful person and always deeply interested in spiritual subjects, and she's also very gifted speaker, and we'll be fortunate to hear from her. Should I transfer this? Oh, no.
I've got
okay.
one.
Oh, you got one. Okay.
Okay. Well, we're very happy and we feel blessed to have heard Srila Maharaj's realized expressions about Krishna consciousness. He's not just speaking lip-deep words, but he's speaking, from a lifetime of, serious practice and experience in Krishna consciousness. So we're very fortunate. Before I say anything, can we invite any questions from our physical audience or from our virtual audience? Anyone have anything at this point? Okay. All right. Well, our title was the meaning of yoga, and nowadays yoga it's like almost like a cult, you could say. All over the world it's becoming so popular. But generally people think of yoga as a type of exercise or stretching. But the word yoga actually indicates connection or union. And it indicates a path by which the soul can connect with a higher plane of reality. Realize our higher self and connect with the supreme reality. And this is, of course, coming from the ancient texts of India, the Vedic texts. And there are different paths which are described by which persons can connect with different layers, we can say, of the spiritual reality. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Maharaj has been referring to Bhagavad Gita. Here, there are several different types of yoga which are outlined. And Bhagavad Gita, it is a book which there's something there for everyone. Like one of the scientists who helped develop the first atom bomb, when he saw the first explosion go off, he quoted a verse from Bhagavad Gita. It's describing one form of the Lord, it's described there as being like, if there were millions of suns in the sky at one time, that would give you some idea of the brilliance of this form of God. So when he saw that atom bomb explosion go off, he remembered that verse, he quoted that verse. And so many other great thinkers and scientists, they have had some appreciation. They all find something there in Bhagavad Gita. Our Gurudev, he joked and said, even like terrorists, the terrorists in India, they keep a copy of Bhagavad Gita in their pocket. They find some inspiration there. So there's something there for everyone. Some food there for everyone. So anyway, different yogas are presented there, different paths by which we can connect with the supreme reality. And the first one, we don't have so much time, I just mentioned briefly. The first one is called Karma Yoga, or Nishkam Karma Yoga, which means the yoga of selfless action. That we will perform our duty in a selfless spirit without expectation of any type of result, any type of reward. And it's said that if one can do that, and this is an experiment, you can go home and try. You can try it for a few weeks. It is said that if one can simply perform their duty, whatever it may be, whatever one can conceive that their duty is, if they can perform that without any expectation, then their consciousness will become purified, and they will begin to feel the more subtle aspect of their existence, the eternal aspect, the soul aspect, arise, awaken within them. They will begin to experience that. And then they will naturally begin to seek some higher spiritual truths. So you can try that, whether you're a teacher or a mother or a sportsman or whatever it may be, you can try, that, I have to teach these students. If they abuse me or praise me, it doesn't matter. I have to take it, and in a selfless spirit, I have to teach them. Like that, one can try that. So this is like the most basic yoga that is prescribed. Then there's also Jnana Yoga, which means the yoga of knowledge. Once one's heart has become purified of selfish interest, then they will naturally begin to seek spiritual knowledge, like inquire into who am I, what is my real place in this world, what is the real nature of the supreme reality, and things like this. Then the next yoga that is described is Ashtanga Yoga, which some of you may have heard of. Ashtanga Yoga, or it's also called Dhyana Yoga. And this Ashtanga Yoga, it means an eightfold path of yoga. And these like postures, which many people are accustomed to, it is like one part of these 8 steps. There's meant to be preliminary practices to that. Trying to live a pure life, a clean life, practicing sense control, like that. And this is meant to eventually culminate in a deep state of trance, and deep absorption in meditation on the divine. And then finally, at the very conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga is described. And the word bhakti, it means devotion. It means love. And so it is indicating the path by which we can approach the Lord in his most intrinsic aspect, you can say, and with our most intrinsic aspect. Because love, this is the essence. Love is everything. And this is really, Maharaj has told us something about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is really at the heart of the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, love. This is what we are all seeking. In the words of our grandfather, Guru Srila Sridhar Maharaj, consciously or unconsciously, the highest position in this world is held by love. Love holds the highest position. This is something that nobody can deny. Persons can leave pursuits of, power, fame, wealth, knowledge, position. We know persons who can leave these things behind, but nobody can give up that desire for love. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj has also expressed beautifully, the innermost hankering of every heart is for love, beauty, charm, ecstasy, not for power or knowledge or anything else. And we see some hints of that within this world. We can find some very powerful person, some very influential person. Maybe they run a company, they have hundreds of employees who are under them, or maybe they're a powerful dictator who, they control so many things and so many resources. But when they go home, they may have a 5-year-old child who will control them, with the tug of their little finger, they can control them, Or they may have a teenager who gives them a hard time and tells them all the things that they need, like that. How is that possible? Because of the power, because of the force of love and affection. So we find some trace, we find hints of that throughout this world. How many great and powerful leaders who have come under the influence of a beautiful woman. We've seen this throughout history. So we find some hints of this throughout the world, and we feel something of that within our heart. But because of the nature of this world, it is a world of exploitation. As Srila Sridhar Maharaj has said, this world is so filthy that we cannot even breathe without causing devastation within the environment. As Maharaj mentioned, there are persons, they adopt veganism or so many other things, or so many causes like this in the world, whereby persons try to minimize exploitation. We won't take milk that hasn't come from happy cows, this type of thing. But if we can appreciate that there is actually consciousness everywhere, whether in a covered or more uncovered state, if we can appreciate there's consciousness everywhere, then we will say, as Maharaj said, you're eating the vegetables, you're killing the vegetables. That is the nature of this world. It is a world of exploitation. We cannot avoid it. It is such a sad condition that we are in, actually. Even if we want to, we cannot avoid it. So because this is a world of exploitation, then what is really the innermost intrinsic desire of every living entity? It tends to be obscured by many other superficial things, the pursuits of, power, position, money, fame, superficial beauty, all of these things. That what is really at the core of everyone's heart, it becomes obscured by these other things. But it is not that it is not there. Like recently I heard about one major drug dealer. He was like, maybe, I don't remember his name, maybe somebody can say. He was like the biggest drug dealer in the world. And there was some documentary done about him, and it revealed that he had a wonderful family life. His children adored him, his wife loved him, and he had just a very wonderful, loving relationship with them. So you can think, like, to get to that position and how many billions and billions of dollars he had, how many terrible crimes were committed for him to get that? How many atrocities were committed for that? How many people killed? but yet he's still in his heart, he has that natural flow of love and affection, and he had a very loving, wonderful family life. So we cannot complete, it is not possible for us to lose that innermost desire. As Maharaj was mentioning, we are, as it is described in the scriptures, we are all sparks of the infinite, part and parcel. Like one very nice example is given of the sun and the sun ray. So we are intrinsically parts of the infinite, separated parts, distinct parts, but still we are of the same quality of that absolute entity. And so because we are a part of that, we are naturally seeking that. We are actually seeking the infinite. But the misconception we have in this world of misconception is that we are trying to find the infinite within the finite. We actually have this hankering within our heart for connection with infinite love, infinite beauty, infinite charm. But we may look for it in a candy bar, or we may look for it in a glass of alcohol, or in a movie, or something like that. But we can never be satisfied by that. It is not possible, because we are part of the infinite. We need that infinite. We cannot be satisfied by anything less than that. And still, we keep searching, we keep trying, thinking, oh, maybe this will be it. This will be the one. Or like nowadays in our modern culture, there's boyfriends, girlfriends, marriage, divorce, remarriage, divorce, and sometimes you hear of people who have had like 3 or 4 marriages, and they're still hopeful. They're still trying, But the Vedas, they tell us, don't be satisfied with anything of this finite world. You are a spiritual being. You will only be satisfied by the joy of that spiritual plane. There's one very beautiful expression, Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra, that you are all children of nectar. You are all born of nectar. So don't be satisfied with anything less than that. You awake, you arise, and seek out your real spiritual prospect. Don't settle for anything less than that. So we're not here. Sometimes we use the word like preaching, we're having a preaching event, but that's not really what this is about. Our Gurudev, actually, he mentioned a few times, he didn't like that word. Really what we're doing is trying to share something, of what we have gained. We feel that, as our Gurudev expressed, really what our distribution mood is, I've just eaten some very tasty apple, and I want to share it with you. I found this really cool health food store, and I want to tell all my friends about it. So we feel that we have tasted something. We have found something meaningful and substantial. We have found some. This has given us some real purpose in our life. And so we want to share that with others, and we hope that others can also find that type of satisfaction, and deep meaning within their life. Okay. Anyone have any question at this point?
Do you travel and you share yourself in that way? I don't want to say give lectures, because that's not what you're doing. But you travel all over the world and share your
That's the way things have developed in my life. Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
It's been about 2 years. I was living at our center in India for about 10 years. And now the last 2 years, I'm traveling by the invitation of our communities.
Where is the center in India?
In West Bengal. And we have a beautiful center here in Santa Cruz, not too far away.
That place in West Bengal is called Navadip Dham. It's the appearance place of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the ashram in which Vishakha was living for so long is called the Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. It's in Navadip. And
Where is Bengal in India? Like, I've been to India.
you know where Kolkata is?
Where?
Kolkata? Calcutta?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of West Bengal.
Okay.
And then the ashram is going, I would say, east, right? Traveling east from Kolkata, about 120 kilometers or 70 miles. And it's a very beautiful village area. And that place, Navadip, is where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. There are many temples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So it's been there for many, many, many years.
Well, yeah, the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat was established in 1942 by Srila Bhakti Yoga Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. And it's a very wonderful, very beautiful place. When we would be leaving Navadip, Srila Sridhar Maharaj should say, now you are going to some distant corner, remote corner of the world. I mean, we're going to, the United States or to California, and he would call that some distant, remote corner of the world. Whereas there in Navadip, you could say that's in the villages, but the quality he ascribed to Navadip is that of being, home sweet home, a place where the soul finds some deep satisfaction of its inner needs. And then for us, we would see that as home. So from his point of vision, from Srila Sridhar Maharaj's point of vision, saying, now you're going to some remote corner of the world. Whether it's London or California, he's speaking in that way. And actually, he was correct in his vision. But you were speaking to Vishakha, you asked her how long she had been traveling.
Yeah, she said that 2 years.
I've practically been traveling my whole life. From one place to another, continually. My brother would ask me, he said, you have no income. How do you travel so much?
I've been traveling for 50 years myself.
Yeah.
And I don't have no income.
Yeah, so then you know. And I would say to him, like,
traveling itself is the income.
yeah. And he'd say, you have no income? And I'd say, yeah. But those who have income, what do they spend it on? They spend it on their enjoyment. They spend it on this. They spend it on that. How much do you spend on food? How much do you spend on shelter? How much do you spend on entertainment? I said, I don't spend money on any of those things.
Addiction.
My only source of spending is on traveling, and that doesn't cost very much, actually. When one is traveling, compared to, if you added up what it costs to travel, that cost of travel would put you well below the poverty line in terms of how much you need to travel. And as Vishakha is now also, we're traveling mendicants. That is our, we go from one place to another. And wherever we go, there is some group of devotees or persons who are aspiring devotees or persons who want to hear something about devotion. And we feel like very much welcome when we go there. And like Vishakha's here, last week she was in Salt Lake City. Some weeks ago, where were you coming from before then?
From Ireland.
From Ireland and from London, right? And before that?
Italy.
Italy.
And Hungary.
And Hungary. And I was in, I don't even remember all the places I was in. I was in Mexico, I was in England, I was in Italy, I was in India.
China.
China. She is from China. She is from our center. This is that Ananda. Ananda. She is from Chongqing.
Southwest of China. Welcome everyone, come to visit our temple by Yuga Dharma and Janardan Maharaj is our guru. So if one day you have chance, come visit China and come to Chongqing, and it's always welcome to our temple.
Should we stop there? I think they're ready for the cooking.
We have a little time, so maybe before I do kirtan.
Okay.
That'd be great.
We have what?
Kirtan, if you want, we can do a little time. Extra time.
You have any more questions, or anyone have?
One question, please, for Vishakha. If one still desired to have the taste of what you're talking about, what would be the first step you would prescribe to move in that direction?
To keep the company of persons who have that taste. That will be it's like a contagious thing, you know. Like if you're, let's say you have to work in a donut shop, and maybe before you didn't really like donuts very much, but if you're always around donuts and you're around people always talking about donuts and eating donuts, then you might start to think, oh, maybe I should eat donuts too. So it is like that, you know. If we keep the company of persons who have a particular aspiration or ideal, who have that fire in their heart, then that will rub off on us, you know. And we will see them and see how they live their life. And, you know, we will observe how their actions may be the same, you know.
That's funny.
But
As Srila Prabhupada once said, persons who work in a sweet shop, they have no desire to be sweet. We're talking about, but he did give the example. He said, if you want to learn to become a drunkard, then associate with other drunks. They'll teach you how to drink. So whatever association you keep, you can learn from that association. But Vishakha is saying, if you keep the association of persons who have some aspiration for spiritual life and for some actual inner hankering, if you're also in that association, then that will naturally increase your understanding and your focus on what you want. But also if you have the association of devotees. We have a center here in Soquel, which is near Capitola. And Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram in Soquel. And we can tell you more. We also have invitations for that. But it's in Soquel. And there are also other centers throughout the world. If you look for the association of devotees, then you'll be surrounded by also persons who are also, as Srila Sridhar said, spiritual seekers. You know, he would often say, I believe you are a sincere seeker, so I'm giving this to you. That's how, at initiation, he would say that. So now?
We're running a little late because of traffic this weekend, so we're still preparing upstairs for the vegetarian cooking class. We can have some more question and answer, or we can have a little kirtan, but I think if someone has something they want to ask Maharaj or Vishakha, you can take that opportunity. You know, it's not always do we have this opportunity to associate with these sweet personalities here, so have some questions about the different types of yoga or material life, anything in material life?
Can we invite Devi Shakti Didi to lead a kirtan? She's a very nice one. Jai.
By the way, these flower garlands, they're called malas. We have not just come from Hawaii. But in the temples, they offer garlands to persons and to the deities that they have garlands.
Question?
Yes.
What kind of challenges can I encounter, or what challenges exist on the path of Bhakti Yoga? How can I deal with obstacles or setbacks?
Well, it's often said when one makes some progress towards devotion, then there's natural, we can say, action and reaction. There is also some opposing force called, which comes from the mayic or illusory, some counter thing. And quoting Hegel, Srila Sridhar Maharaj would talk about thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Then when you make some advancement, then there also will come some, that's the thesis, and there'll come some antithesis, some you can say, some counter force will come. That's just natural. Any endeavor you make in life, there's some endeavor made, and there may be some obstacle when you're speaking of that. And then comes synthesis. One will overcome the obstacles and continue. I mean, you can compare it to a child learning how to walk. Child learning how to walk takes a step or two and then falls, but then pushes himself up using the help of the earth, and then continues to walk and may repeatedly, fall down, pick himself up or herself up and continue. But the result is, we're seeing that as the beginning step. Years in the future, we may see that person is a champion runner or athlete or anything. But, in the beginning, started with that gradual development of step by step taking and then falling and then continuing. So in any endeavor, there is some natural learning process, some development process. But as I said, one will get some of that development by being in association of persons who are also spiritually inclined. Because we talked about kirtan, we talked about chanting. That occurs very much sympathetically when other persons are playing. Just like we have persons playing this drum, it's called a mridanga. And persons playing these hand cymbals, they're called kartals. And then they have, sometimes we see, go to a temple or go to India, and we see they have these kirtans which build in intensity. And one gets swept up in this wave of music and devotion. It's very beautiful. So in the association of other persons, naturally, there's that. And as far as one's individual development within bhakti, association of devotees, engaging in some service. Service is called seva. And one is engaged in that seva. That is ultimately, seva means an offering to the Lord. So we want to do that also. And you can do that in the temple, you can do that at home. You don't have to be in a temple to be able to engage in seva. You can do that. You can do that at home. Like a person has a family. A person has a family. They can educate their family. They can, together join in spiritual activities. So we have some movement going on.
I think they're finalizing the setup.
About 5 more minutes, so if you want to do
Okay.
it's very nice.
Yeah.
All right. You want to continue with your question, or you have a question?
Yeah, what are some other ways that we can do service if one cannot make it to the temple as often as they may like.
Well, there are infinite numbers of ways, but for instance, you can be with your friends, and your friends can have a kirtan. They can sing, they can read, they can discuss things, they can, they can be in communication with other persons, by telephone, by internet. They can be in communication, and one can see what is the actual inner hankerings of one's heart. Without going to the temple, one can address that to other persons, or one can address that, like one can sit down and write an email and say, Dear Prabhu, I had this feeling in myself, and I wanted to know about this, and can you kindly answer that, and this and that. So, that can be done, but and then somebody has a family, like one person present here, his wife Abha is going to do the cooking, going to give instructions on cooking. That person, Jai Ram, he has children now. He's when he's at home, he's also engaging his family, and they'll invite people over to their house. They'll discuss things about spiritual life, or he's anxious to go here or there, meet with other persons. It's just like there's so many activities in the world in which one can engage.
So keeping Krishna on our minds as we're doing whatever type of activity together or alone.
Yeah, like this sounds kind of a little different, but I was with one of our devotees, and she told me, do you want to go to a baseball game? And she's a fan of the Giants. So she said, do you want to go to the baseball game? I said, yes, we can all go. So like 9 persons, friends and devotees, and I also went to the game. So she said, we can go on this and this date. And I said, well, that date's Ekadasi. And on Ekadasi, we don't eat grains. So if we're going to a baseball game, we might want to eat grains. So we'll go the day before. So we went the night before. And we went the night before. I said, can you get tickets for this game? She said, yeah, I can get the tickets. So she bought the tickets. And we went to that game. And that game was what they call a perfect game. The pitcher pitched a perfect game, the first time in the history of that particular team, the Giants. And they just said, let's go on this day. And we went there. And everybody, all the sports fans, they were, so it was kind of interesting. But, I'm just saying, we were, superficially, we're going to a sporting event. And because we went there, and it didn't even cost us very much, like $3-5 a ticket at that time. Bought them online, go there. And we're all together. So we're watching the game, and we're involved in it. And you could say, what's devotional about that? Well, the devotion is that we're going there as a group, and we're persons, and the devotees have many interests. Some of them may have interest in sports. Some of them may have interest in music. Like here, Hari Dayal, he's a musician. He travels, he plays a number of instruments. Plays banjo, guitar, sitar, I don't know, so many instruments, right? What are other instruments?
A couple of them.
Yeah. Guitar, banjo, sitar, different things. And he's traveled all over the world playing music. When he stays here, he stays at the temple, and he's a practicing devotee. But that happens to be his profession, playing music. And there are devotees, there are devotees who are teachers. They teach, and they're not necessarily, reading Bhagavad Gita to their students. No, they're teaching what is the curriculum in the school. But their inner consciousness is of devotion, and some of that may come out and permeate how they teach and how they express themselves and what their vision of reality is. And probably that makes them better teachers, because they have a positive vision of, devotees are by nature, they're optimistic, they're not pessimistic. We're not pessimists, we're not cynics. Rather, we are optimistic about everything. That doesn't mean we're living in a, what can you say, a Pollyanna existence or an ivory tower world. We're aware of what events are going on in this world, and some of them are by nature not so pleasant. But our vision ultimately of everyone, of ourselves and everyone else, is optimistic. We see that the inner nature of everyone is unlimited. Vaikuntha means unlimited. There is unlimited potential for everything. There is even unlimited potential for atoms, for molecules. There's unlimited potential. Everything is ultimately known by its potential. And the potential is unlimited. But everything is not known by some static existence, so-called mundane existence. No, it's not a static existence. Everything is ultimately full of potential. Every single person. And whether in this life it's realized or in future lives, but the soul is eternal. It will continue eternally. When we'll always get some opportunity to go towards light, towards advancement. That is the nature of the soul. Unlimited potential. So we see it that way. And you have unlimited potential. You can pursue devotion anywhere. You can pursue devotion, at your job in the street, or you could even pursue devotion in confinement, if one was in that difficult situation, being confined. One could still chant or pursue some kind of vision. There's ultimately, there's no limitations. You want to say something?
Beautiful, Maharaj.
Okay, so I think we're just about ready to go upstairs and have our cooking class with Abha Sharma. She's gonna enlighten us about the deliciousness of vegetarian cooking, and very nice word. And so we can gather our things and get ready to go upstairs, and I think all the cameras will follow. Okay, so.
And will she also enlighten us with the deliciousness of vegetarian eating?
Yes, we'll have a beautiful feast after that with what she is making. So she'll tell us what she's making. It's a surprise.
All right, very good.
It's a surprise.
It's live?
Yeah,
Okay. It's live.
we're live.
Good evening, everybody, and namaskar. Danvat pranam to Srila Janardan Maharaj and everybody present here. Thank you very much for coming here. This is our third one in the series of vegetarian cooking, cooking with your heart. And so happy to see all of you. And on our third issue, we've previously done chipped rice and some stuffed parathas. So for this one, we'll be doing pigeon split lentil. Now, a lot of people ask questions regarding, if you could zoom in on this one. A lot of people ask, where do vegans or vegetarian get their protein from? So this lentil, he'll show it, is the one, actually, all the lentils, Lavanika, my daughter here, would go in the front and you can show them all the different lentils. These are the storehouse of protein, or more than anything that you would think of or can think of, everything. So we can zoom in one by one on all these lentil quickly. So if you could read them.
So here we have moong, we have whole
wash the tomato before doing it.
Here we have chana and here we have whole masoor.
We have many more. These are very limited, but these are the storehouse for vegan or vegetarian cooking if you want to do protein. And it has the maximum amount that you can go to, as much as you can make it in soup, you can make it in different forms, dry, paranthas. Think of it and you can do it. We can do many more in cooking sessions if you keep up with us. Yes,
So
Maharaj?
that split pigeon, sometimes it's called like split, it's called tur dal.
Yes,
And sometimes it's called arad dal.
arar dal,
And
yes.
it's similar to split, it's a little similar to split yellow peas.
Yes, I guess a lot of us might get confused when we go to grocery store seeing all different shades of yellow, but they're all different dals, lentils. So as you see, you know, they have a lot of yellow ones, but everyone is a little different shape, size, and pigeon split or tur dal is two different, you can find two different ones. One is a polished one and the other is unpolished. You can make any kind. The unpolished cooks a little faster, but this is also very, it is one of the quick cook ones. It cooks very quickly, takes less time, unlike whole lentils. You see two of them are there. They take a longer time, and beans are the ones that give us a lot of protein too, but you have to soak them. But lentils is the easiest one to make. So we'll first take 1 cup of tur dal, pigeon split. Washing it, if you can zoom in. We're going to wash it. There's no requirement to soak this dal. That's the best part. Here. Okay. And Lavanika will give me 4 cups of water from the jug there by your side. So once I put it on the stove, then you'll measure 4 cups, and here we go. So we have it right here, and 4 cups of water. Go ahead, guys. Just be careful out there. This takes about 15 minutes to cook. You can put it on medium high. It'll cook, but you don't want to cook it all the way down. Now, everybody thinks dal is actually one of the basic in anywhere in India if you go, you know, more in the north or the middle, less in the south, but they use different forms of dal, like they would make it into sambar. But this one here, tur dal, this is also actually the dal that is used in sambar, idli, dosa, if you've heard, the ones that, you know, people in south and everywhere love it. So this dal here will take about like 15 to 20 minutes to cook. We put it on medium high, let it simmer. We're going to put 1 spoon of my favorite ghee, clarified butter. You can put oil, olive oil, any sort of oil that goes with your diet. And here are my spices just for, this is just to boil. We're going to put some cumin seeds. Let me put it this way. And Nap out there can show all the spices that I'm using. If you go around and you can pick up the bowl and he can zoom in. So we have cumin seeds. Put a little salt.
Some salt.
Yes. Some salt. I'm thinking this is a little less here. All right. And a little turmeric. Yes, perfect. And some asafoetida. If you show the bowl, I think we have very little here. But
What is the function of asafoetida?
it is actually helps in digestion.
Yes.
One of the, yes, but this is not a very heavy lentil, but still it'll give you a flavor. This also helps for people who do not use garlic and onion. And it gives us the flavor, and it helps in digestion as well. we're going to cover this one with the lid. Now while this boils, I already have a lentil that is boiled. If you can zoom in here, we have, you see how it's still grainy? We haven't lost, but they're fully cooked in there. Now this is the tricky part that everybody gets stuck on in dal. You can make a dal, but either you lose the grain and it all be one, which is good if you like it that way. But my family enjoys one with the grain, but fully cooked ones. And you see this beautiful lentil water. Actually, this is very interesting. My kids never liked baby food. So as soon as they were ready to eat, have their first one, this is what I would give them, lentil water. And it's flavored because it has just cumin seeds and little clarified butter. And this is what they both loved. They never had oatmeal, never had yams. They would just throw it out. And this is a complete food. And it's just lentil water. Wholesome.
There's a lot of protein in the water.
Yes, because this is how it'll become. See.
Do they use dal in dosa?
Yeah, in dosa, this is the dal that they use. And then they add vegetables and a little tamarind juice. And they cook it, then adding spices. It's cooked down a little. And that's how it's made. This is the main dal, tur dal. So while this is cooking, we can do our chants, or the tempering as we call it. Nabir is going to cut me, Lavanika, could you wash me a tomato? And Nab can cut that for me. Thank you very much. So let me come up and add my spices for the tempering. So we're going to use, for spices, we're going to use, Lavanika, could you cut me ginger julienne, please? Thank you. So I'm going to add a little turmeric on my plate, some salt. I have cumin seeds. I think that's good enough. Some asafoetida. There we go. Awesome. Perfect. My spices. Perfect. So as soon as you're done with some slices, we put this on. Comes the tricky part. Got it. And whatever oil you want to, my favorite is clarified butter. And I go with that, just a spoon, not more. Let it warm up a little bit. And the first thing we add is asafoetida and cumin seeds. So we don't get here. You can put I have it. You can put my ginger julienne on this one. Thank you so much. And we would have to blend the tomatoes, plug it in. Be careful not to, okay, there you go. Let me lower the heat a little bit because this should not burn. Awesome. So we go cumin seeds. My clove is trying to come in the middle. Awesome. Just so that the ginger is lightly sauteed. These are whole red chilies. Drop one in, flavoring. So when it's a little brown, just sauteed, we're going to add our spices. Let's see how our lentil is doing. Good. It's come to a boil. It's happening. Let me add a little salt because I think that was a little less in there. There you go. And I can lower the heat. Okay. Yes, there we go. Got it. Take it off. Magic. Got it again. Okay. So. Hi, little one. Now you see, our ginger is almost done. So we add coriander and a cardamom, a bay leaf, a little bit of chili powder, and some turmeric. Not much. And can I have my tomatoes? There we go. We don't want it to burn. There. Perfect. Thank you very much. This we can use for our chutney. Meanwhile, you can wash the mint leaves. So here we go. You see how you don't want to let the chance burn, because then it depends if you want a smoky flavor, but a normal regular tur dal would have a nicely done hued, brown hued. A lot of people also make lentil with adding a lot of vegetables, like it's the best soup for winter, and you would like to add vegetables. My personal choice is not to go because it disturbs the flavor, because each lentil in itself is very flavorful, and you want to enjoy it that way. But if you want to make a good pot of vegetable soup, you can add the lentil water or the broth, and it'll work for you. Works as a base also. Like dosai, he was mentioning, that works as a base.
You added tomatoes.
Ah, yes, I had it. Now here I already have my chance. If you could zoom in, already ready. Now what you do is you should let it cook until it leaves the oil or the ghee, and then it's done. So you want to just add it.
What's in that chance?
This that we just made. It has, this is exactly what it is, but it's completely done.
And it has tomatoes.
Yes, it has tomatoes. Yes, Maharaj. My chance has tomato. Everything. And after it's done, I would love to put a whole green chili, if nobody would mind. I just want to drop it here. Now I'm going to cut it, because my kid here cannot have cut chilies. He cannot have pieces and it gets stuck in the, but a whole one, he can always take it out. You can see it and you can take it out. See how it's, okay, so we can go a little higher. But this one, if Red could zoom in on this, we're just going to cook, we can cook a little bit more and let it all blend in. And when it's done, we would add garam masala, the spice right here. Now garam masala is a mix of spices. It is clove, cinnamon, black pepper, and this is a mixture of spices. So after we add the chance, we're still going to cook it for about like 5 minutes, just so that it blends well. There's no water differentiation thing. And
The pepper, garam masala is only black pepper?
black pepper, and there is, there is no red chili in there. See how it's starting to leave? You can see all the water, but not yet completely done. And how about some cilantro mint chutney on the side? Would you like to see that too? Okay, so not the whole. I would like you to chop me some cilantro for the garnishing first. Yes. Here. And Vanika is going to show you the ingredient. We have mint. So first we have tomatoes. If you see in the blender, if you can hold up the blender over there, Red, we already have tomatoes in there, blended. So we're going to add some mint. Show the mint. You have to turn it back. Here are mint leaves, washed, little tilted. To show everybody in the front too. There you go. We're going to add some mint. You can say a bunch or half a bunch depending on how many people we want in. I think we're trying to cover everybody here, so we'll do a bunch, one bunch of mint leaves. Just the leaves, not the stalks. But cilantro, you can put the stalks, because I think they are little It'll get a little bitter if you. Yes. Now you could, yes, you have it and tell me. Once you taste it, then you tell me how it tastes. I think most of us here have had our cilantro and mint chutney, and let's see. But it's a very, very nice salsa, as you say. Yes, that is totally correct. They have very individual, strong flavors. And mints, salsa or dips or chutneys, as you know, act as, fiber. The meal becomes complete, So you're having some lentils or legumes or everything, and then you have chutney with it, and everything's good in the morning. Okay, so if you show, we're going to add some salt. So if one of you could bring some, this would not be enough. You can bring the bowl over here. And I would put some asafoetida, just a pinch, not much. There you go. Some salt and green chili. I'm going to put 2 whole because I have a lot of cilantro.
What is underneath that?
Tomatoes. Yes, Maharaj, the red tomatoes. Okay, so, yeah. And we can cut a lemon slice in there. Half a lemon, yeah, half a lemon would be good. So we're going to just blend this together. That's it. Plug it in. After. So this is not ready yet. I guess it's not 20 minutes. There we go. Now to have the lentil, we can pair it up with rice. It goes very well with rice while they are making the chutney. I'm going to try and make a chapati to go with the lentil, just one. And I can move the chance because it's done. I can move it here, and let's do just one so we can add it so it can be paired up with rice, chapati, and you can have a little salad or chutney on the side, and it'll be perfect. There we go. So I have a little dough ready. It has nothing, just water and whole wheat. There we go. One, and we're going to, the dough that I have here is, as I told in the paratha cooking class, we're not going to make it very tight. If you see, it's still sticking, it's loose. It's not a very tight dough, and we have just flour. Flour and water for the dough. Here it's just dry flour for rolling it up. So I have this here. While it warms up, I'm going to roll it. Try not to add too much flour because it just gets a little cracky and hard, crisp. We don't want the chapati to be crisp. Paratha, yes, but so if you roll it out and sweep it. And we're going to make one. Meanwhile, I put my rice. And this rice is just simple boiled one, but apart from that, it has some flavorful spices. I have added cloves. See here, cloves, black pepper, cardamom, a bay leaf, and just a spoonful of clarified butter. So this is what my rice has. I'm going to put some dal in here. There you go.
Is this
Yes, actually the one that I used today was an organic, unpolished one. The one that is cooked and the one that you all will have a sample to taste, prasadam. The one cooking here is the polished one as I showed you, this one. But the one that is already pre-cooked and in the prasadam, that's an organic, unpolished one. Because it takes, you can taste the difference and the cooking time is a little different, but it's your choice. So see, if now it's done, you're going to just let it. Okay, so we have this. Now we can turn that off. We don't need it. And we're going to put a little of my favorite one. A drop in the dal. I love it everywhere. Can I have that? Oh my goodness. Nobody's ready to give me. Okay. So I'm going to chop little cilantro. There you go. And if our chutney is ready, almost ready. Meanwhile, our dal is still cooking. Right, should be good. Lemon? Oh, that's okay. It tastes, I can smell it, it's awesome. And if you can give me a slice of cucumber and a carrot right here, that'll be great. Just a slice. Okay, so let's put it, this one. And sometimes I also use pomegranate seeds or pomegranate seed powder in there. Or you can put mango powder, dry mango powder. It gives you the tang. And it tastes wonderful. I personally like the whole dry seeds of pomegranates, but my husband likes the powdered one because he doesn't like to come in the mouth. So whichever one is the same, just use it and it'll give the wonderful flavor. Okay, and we can put right here.
What is the tang good for?
This one? It's a tang. Yeah, it's a chutney, so it's not like when you mix everything and you put a little mango powder or turmeric, it has that extra zing or the zest, like when we add lemon to stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I can just add this here. I love this, and I have one of my favorite persons in this world is like Jeevna Didi. She's not here today. I really want to mention her. She loves lemon in everything, and we like to put that, and slowly it'll absorb and give the aroma. You'll feel it and the flavor. It's just awesome.
With the skin?
Yes. You know, because you're not going to eat. It's just going to sit there and give. Yes. So, here we are. There we are. Awesome. Just 2 slices, just with the peels. Awesome. Thank you very much. Here we go.
The chutney you take with the meal, you just take a little bit. It's there, it's a flavor that while you're eating the other things, you don't eat like a cup of
Oh, this one does, Maharaj. He takes a whole bowl. So here we have dal, rice, chapati, some salad, chutney. This is your whole plate. Once again, I would like to say thank you to everybody, Rhett here, who Wave Street Studios. Every time they welcome us with such open arms and such a wonderful ambience. Rhett and his wife, Linda. Judy. I'm so sorry. I've met her twice, but my memory. I'm sorry, Judy. And they are so happy to open their house and the studio for us so we can spread this goodness and happiness and be good to environment and ourselves and the best help. And I'd like to pay my dhanvats to Srila Janardan Maharaj. Thank you very much. And yes, Yes, my wonderful helpers. I would say my mom in the beginning. Everything after marriage, I learned quite a few from my mother-in-law too. So I use, yes. My mom, they're both in Delhi. And they are originally from Uttar Pradesh. My mother-in-law is from Kashmir. So I get different flavors, everything. And it's nice to learn that. And I would also add a couple of things that my dad taught me. He taught me how to make paranthas. One time when we had accident in the family, so my mom could not cook. And then I was in I was in first year of high school. And I had to cook everything, make lunch for my brothers. And they're about 7-8 years younger to me, 2 brothers. And I would make the whole lunch. I would make so he taught me. He knew everything because he studied in a hostel. He came to Delhi when he was doing engineering. So he used to cook everything himself. And I never knew that until he taught me. So, yes. Sure. This is going to be, I made the dal for everybody. Absolutely. And chutney, we can take it downstairs and everybody can have it. दाल गरम नहीं है क्योंकि ये ठंडी थी ना दाल नीचे से ले लेंगे महाराज लाफो मत काट अच्छा काटे जा रही है देख ना उसका हाँ आज खा ले अब कुछ somebody needs to turn it off or it's still might be
Okay, go ahead and hit stop.